Missouri's Attorney General walked out of her office and announced a lawsuit. The target, a Kansas City company selling Kratom products. She called 7-OH a hazardous opioid. The company called it a wellness product with enormous demand. A judge just refused to shut them down. I'm Patrick Nolan. Today on Pat Talks Law, the Kratom fight in Missouri, what 7-OH actually is, and why a judge said the evidence cuts both ways. On March 31st, outside her office, Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway announced the state is suing American Shaman, a Kansas City-based CBD and Kratom company, and several affiliated entities. The lawsuit was filed alongside the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. The target, Kratom products, specifically 7-OH. Hanaway's position is direct. She calls 7-OH a hazardous opioid, banned under state and federal law. The state asked for a temporary restraining order. Shut the company down now, before the case is heard. Jackson County Circuit Judge Charles McKenzie held a hearing. Both sides submitted expert affidavits. The evidence, he said, cuts both ways. McKenzie denied the restraining order because he could not determine at this stage whether the state was likely to succeed on the merits. The denial was without prejudice. He wants more evidence. A future hearing will take up the full injunctive relief. The state's case rests on three pillars. First, an undercover narcotics officer with the Highway Patrol submitted a sworn statement saying 7-OH is being used to cut fentanyl. Second, a woman whose brother died from a kratom overdose. Third, an FDA report calling 7-OH, quote, a potent opioid that poses an emerging public health threat. Then the numbers. State health data showing synthetic 7-OH was involved in at least 197 Missouri deaths. That is the figure the Attorney General's office is working with. 197. My input real quick. The AG's case is shaky. It is built on unsupported assertions and a rather bold statement attempting to connect the product with fentanyl. If the AG fails to bring receipts, and they did fail at the preliminary injunction, that officer's Giglio file just got a bit fatter. American Shaman fought back with their own experts. 5 toxicology and addiction specialists submitted statements. Their position: there is not enough evidence that 7-OH and kratom pose a public health risk. One narcotics researcher said she had never heard of 7-OH being used to cut fentanyl. Company owner Vince Sanders submitted a statement of his own. He described how he developed the 7-OH product line. He says demand is enormous, particularly among people who need pain management. Sanders could not be reached for comment after the ruling. The evidence cuts both ways. Months, money, 5 experts who disagree, 1 judge who wants more. This is not the only Kratom lawsuit Hanaway filed. Thursday, the same week as the American Shaman case, she sued Relief Rejuvenate Trading LLC and its owners, Dustin Robinson and AJ Kumar Patel. That group received an FDA warning letter last year for producing 7-OH products, similar to one American Shaman received. Hanaway's press release was blunt. This is another step in our ongoing crackdown on kratom manufacturers who flout the law and try to justify endangering Missourians in the name of profit. Her mission, she said, is to safeguard Missourians from unregulated and addictive substances. It should be injected here that neither the United States nor the state of Missouri has actually passed legislation or undertaken administrative action banning kratom. This is a rather large bad fact for the Attorney General Division of Missouri's cannabis cartel. Here is what is actually at stake. Kratom exists in a regulatory gap. It is not scheduled at the federal level. The FDA has issued warnings but has not banned it. States are filling the vacuum. Some have banned kratom outright. Others have age restrictions or product standards. Missouri is testing whether 7-OH, a concentrated derivative, can be treated as an illegal opioid under existing law by claiming it is an adulterated food subject to the Missouri Merchandising Practices Act. If you are a kratom retailer or manufacturer in Missouri, here is the landscape right now. 1. The state attorney general is actively filing suits. American Shaman and Relief Rejuvenate are the first 2 targets. That does not mean you are next. It means the office is building a track record. The AG may be grandstanding, but she is standing on your throat to do it. 2. The temporary restraining order was denied. That matters. It means a judge looked at the state's evidence and said it was not enough for an emergency shutdown. The bar for immediate action is high. 3. The case is moving forward. McKenzie set a future hearing for more evidence. The state will refine its case. Yours should be ready. 4. If you are selling 7OH products, get your compliance documentation in order now. Chain of custody for your sourcing. Independent lab testing. Labels that meet every state requirement. The time to prepare is before the lawsuit, not after. 5. This is a political fight. You need to fight MOCAN Cathy in the media, in the grassroots, in the bare knuckle fight that is Missouri election campaigns. The state legislature has twice considered banning Kratom and deferred. That is a classic case of legislative acquiescence. In Missouri, MOCAN Cathy doesn't get to usurp the legislature and write her own laws. Bottom line, the state says 7OH is a hazardous opioid. The company says it is a legitimate wellness product. A judge said the evidence cuts both ways, and he wants to hear more. This case is going to move, and the outcome could set the standard for kratom regulation across Missouri. I'm Patrick Nolan. This is Pat Talks Law. If this kind of legal news belongs in your feed, like the video, subscribe, and share it with anyone in the kratom or CBD space who needs to know what is happening in Missouri and nationally. More on this as the hearings develop.